They called him El Fantasma, the ghost. No fingerprints. No photos. No confirmed name. Only whispers of his influence across cartel strongholds in Sinaloa, Michoacan, and Sonora. His reputation was etched in blood, fear, and untouchable power. For over 2 decades, American intelligence tried to identify him, and every time they got close, he vanished. His cartel was responsible for nearly 70% of the fentanyl entering the U.S. streets. Thousands of overdoses. Billions laundered through crypto, fake real estate companies, and luxury goods. Still, his face remained unseen, his voice unheard. His name, rumored to be Martin Herrera Beltran, was scribbled in secret documents locked away in both Langley and Mexico City. But even the DEA admitted they had nothing solid. The story began in 1999, when a wave of violence swept through Culiacan. Whole families were executed. Bodies dumped on highways. Back then, everyone believed the Sinaloa cartel was being torn apart by internal strife. But it was more than infighting. It was a purge. Herrera, then a low-ranking logistics handler, was rising through the ranks not with bullets, but brains. He understood something other drug lords didn't, that brute force alone couldn't sustain an empire. You needed invisibility. You needed bureaucracy. You needed politicians. By 2003, U.S. intelligence noticed that cartel shipments had doubled despite major arrests and seizures. Every raid yielded mid-level players. Never the heads. Every informant led investigators down a maze that went nowhere. They found bodies hung beneath bridges with signs, "Snitches talk. Ghosts don't." The DEA didn't know it yet, but that message wasn't for the streets. It was for them. Herrera operated like a Fortune 500 CEO. He held quarterly meetings, paid salaries, had HR departments, legal teams, and IT divisions. His foot soldiers used encrypted servers built in-house. His traffickers flew under the radar using diplomatic passports. How? Because he had the foreign minister of a Central American country on his payroll. Even when 2 U.S. Marines were kidnapped and executed in Sonora in 2006, Herrera's name never came up. The U.S. blamed another cartel. They launched drone strikes, raided compounds, arrested innocent farmers. Meanwhile, Herrera's empire grew from the shadows. Then came the breakthrough, or so they thought. In 2011, a wiretap intercepted a voice calling into a safe house in Guadalajara. The voice was calm, deep. It gave orders, then disappeared. A linguist identified a distinct accent, born in Mexico City, educated abroad, possibly London or Geneva. The DEA began to circle in. But within a week, 3 agents were dead. One was found with his mouth sewn shut. A coin was lodged in his throat, a rare centavo from 1915. Symbolism. A message. Don't chase ghosts. The U.S. government raised the bounty, $15 million for any information leading to Herrera's arrest. But locals in Mexico laughed. You can't arrest someone who doesn't exist, one journalist wrote. That journalist vanished a month later. In 2016, a former accountant defected. He handed over ledgers showing $6.7 billion moved in cash over 5 years. The routes went through banks in Panama, the Cayman Islands, and Switzerland. But every route dead-ended in shell companies tied to no name. Not even fake names. By 2019, it became clear Herrera wasn't just a man. He was an idea, a criminal system so decentralized that removing him wouldn't even collapse the empire. He was a CEO running a $1 trillion multinational with zero paper trail. Then came the video. A 14-second clip sent anonymously to a DEA Dropbox. It showed a masked man sitting in front of a gold-plated table, surrounded by armed guards. His voice, filtered and low, simply said, "15 million. Keep it. I already make that in a week." The clip was watermarked with a location ping, Washington, D.C. It was a lie, of course. Or was it? The pressure mounted as headlines across the globe echoed the same chilling question: how does a man with a $15 million bounty still walk free? Inside a secret U.S. task force based in Texas, maps of Mexico were peppered with red pins and mugshots of dead informants. Operation Shadow Pulse was launched, a joint effort between the DEA, CIA, and Mexican Marines. But El Fantasma, the ghost, remained untouchable. No one had seen his face in nearly a decade. He no longer traveled by land. Submarines hidden beneath fishing boats delivered goods from Colombian ports. His voice was heard only through burner phones, distorted, emotionless. Yet his power was unmatched. His fingerprints were on political donations, police payrolls, and even celebrity endorsements. In one intercepted call, a senator whispered, "He doesn't bribe people. He owns them." Meanwhile, in the mountains of Sinaloa, a young girl watched her father dragged into the street and shot. The message was simple: he talked. That girl, only 12, later gave a teary interview to an independent journalist, sobbing into her torn shirt. The clip went viral. But the journalist, found dead a week later in a burned-out car. The U.S. offered more money, more equipment, more pressure. Drones flew over Colombian jungles. Satellites tracked movement in every port. But nothing stuck. Informants turned up headless. Raids found nothing but rotting safehouses and sealed tunnels. Then came the leak. An anonymous whistleblower sent video footage to major news outlets showing top Colombian intelligence officials dining at a mansion with men believed to be El Fantasma's lieutenants. Bottles of wine worth thousands. Conversations in hushed tones. One officer even toasted to the ghost who saved us all. Panic spread across the intelligence community. If Colombia's top agents were compromised, who was left? U.S. officials began interrogating their own. 2 agents were quietly removed from the DEA. One later confessed under immunity, the man owns more than just land. He owns loyalty. We were fighting a shadow with one hand tied behind our backs. Back in Colombia, a schoolteacher named Lourdes found a satchel near her home. Inside were photos, documents, bank records. They detailed wire transfers linking El Fantasma's operation to European arms dealers. She took the evidence to police. 3 days later, she vanished. Her brother, distraught, uploaded a tear-filled video pleading with the government. It went viral. The Colombian president responded with outrage and promises of reform. But behind closed doors, he met with his cabinet, voice trembling, "We are in the middle of a war with someone who doesn't exist." Months passed. Then, one night, an anonymous drone filmed a convoy in the Colombian jungle. 10 vehicles, armed guards, and at the center a figure in white. Tall. Calm. Some swore it was him. The footage vanished before it could be released. Was it sabotage? Or fear? The U.S. raised the bounty to $20 million. Nothing happened. No arrests. No new leads. The ghost remained. A chilling voicemail surfaced from a DEA field agent: "If we ever find him, it won't be justice. It'll be suicide." Meanwhile, overdoses in the United States rose to record highs. Fentanyl traced to El Fantasma's routes killed thousands monthly. One mother held her dead son in her arms and screamed at the cameras, "You hunt terrorists in deserts. Why won't you hunt the men who murdered my baby?" Silence. And then one final twist. An email leaked from a secure government server. It contained an audio recording, El Fantasma's voice, raw, unfiltered. "I will never be caught. I don't hide. I blend. I am the system you created." The recording ended with laughter. The U.S. media exploded. Panic turned to rage. Congress called for new sanctions, new alliances. But those closest to the war knew the truth. You can't capture a ghost when the ghost is the world you built.